This is something I teach from mom and pops all the way to Fortune 50 companies as far as communication and leadership. We're going to get into a lot of aspects of it, so we'll have a little fun throughout the course of the day. Fair enough? All right, so most people know that in order to resolve conflicts, we need to communicate, right? We have to be a good communicator. Who in here thinks they're a good communicator? All right, let me put it a different way, because I knew that was going to be the answer. I've done this long enough. Who in here thinks that you're 90% and above communicator? All right, I got one or two. I like it. How about we'll take 70% and above? All right. How about 50% and below? All right. People are like, well, I saw pinky go up on a couple of you. I'm like, I'm not going to raise my hand and tell them that I am, but you know it's there. So by implementing a few simple communication skills, you can increase positive interactions with people, right? So there's little things that we can do to make a big impact. Little things we can do to make a big impact. Do you understand that communication is the main thing? That it's the hardest thing in all of business, all of communication, throughout all the things, through your leaders, through your employees, through your customers. It's all about communication. And you know, if you can learn some of the basic communication skills, it really can take you to the next level with little things that you can do. Effective communication and effective leadership are closely intertwined. So in other words, if you're a good communicator, a lot of times you're looked at as a good leader. No, it's one of those things that nonverbal is very important. Communicating difficult situations. We're going to talk a little bit about written communication, just a little bit on written communication, because that gets sort of boring, but I left a couple slides in there. Because here's the one thing, you have to be well-rounded in communication. And there's lots of aspects of communication. So who's ever been through personality training? Anybody been through personality training? I know one or two, been in my class, right? Personalities are very important. So there's lots of layers of the communication process. And one of them is personalities. It's a very, very important one. So I'm going to talk about extroverts and introverts first. Then I'll get into 4 personalities. I told you I haven't done this one for like 5 years, this presentation, but that's the way I am. So extroverts and introverts. So let me do a different way now that I see the slide behind me. Who's my introverts in the room? Just kidding. Just get your hands down. Who's my extroverts in the room? You always go extroverts first. Introverts are like, yeah. Extroverts, raise your hands. So loud and proud. Extroverts, extroverts, extroverts. Who's my introverts now? All right. Who thinks they're an ambivert? I got a couple of them. Here's the thing. I think ambiverts serve a cop-out, my opinion. But if you had to look at me, I'd probably say, well, I'm an ambivert. I'm 100% extrovert. I just get in moods to be an introvert. COVID brought out my inner introvert. I walked into my computer screen, trained all day, walked out, played with my kids, didn't want to talk to anybody. And I was totally okay with it. My sister on site, she was like bouncing off the walls. I thought she was going to explode because she couldn't talk to anybody. I was like, don't call me. I'm not talking to anybody right now. So I loved it. So I think ambivert, I think you can be this. And the way the ambivert was designed is a lot of our personality tests, Myers-Briggs and DISC and all this, there's a spot that you can land 50%. You can land right on that line. And they said, well, we got to create something. And they call it created ambivert. I really think you sway one way or another. You're either more introvert or more extrovert. And there's different situations you're going to have to ramp up. I'm married to an engineer, an introvert engineer, and she does not like talking to people at all. But she has to do it in her line of business. She has to address hundreds of people from time to time. Phew. She doesn't understand how I do what I do for a living, you know. But she has to do it, and she used to be 90% introvert. I'd say she's probably 60% introvert, hanging out with me for the last 20 years, right? Extrovert, what do you do with extroverts? Does this look like something to work for you as an extrovert? Like social gatherings? Who likes social gatherings? Who's going tonight? Who's going to the thing tonight? Yeah? Yeah, okay. Love good conversations, large group of friends. I'm 100% extrovert. I don't know if I have a large group of friends. I think that comes with dyeing the gray hair in there. I'm like, I got my circle. I don't know. I guess I got a lot of friends. It's just the inner circle. I got rings. That's how I define my friends. We got the inner circle, we got the secondary circle, we got the third circle, and then we got everybody else, right? So we do it. I don't know if you do it. That's sort of what me and my wife talk about. You're bored when you're alone. Again, that's where that comes in, that natural ambivert thing. Well, I don't get bored being alone. I'm okay with it because I always fill up time. I'm an education junkie. I'll sit down and read a book or listen to an audio book. I'll do something for fun. That's my fun. My wife's like, I'm at the gym listening to an audio book, and my wife's like, how do you work out to listen to an audio book? I'm like, I'm just strange like that. I love education. So misconceptions about extroverts. Friendly and outgoing. Most people believe an extroverted is a person who is friendly and outgoing. While that may be true, there's not a full meaning of extroversion. An extrovert is a person who is energized by being around people. This is an opposite of an introvert who is energized about being alone. Think about that. I'm an extrovert. I love crowds. I love microphones. I've got some good friends in here. They know I love microphones. I grew up way back years ago, dyed the gray in for business. I'm going to stick with 23. But I was a club DJ way back when, right? I've had some radio shows, podcasts, and I love microphones. If you give me a microphone, I love talking. That's why when they said, hey, Phil can't make it, I'm like, I'll do it. They go, you good? I didn't even know I was doing it. I went over there, I'm like, hey, if you need me to fill in. And then you guys probably got the text. I was sitting over there watching the person right after me. I got the text. If you didn't miss Tim Lansford, come back and see him. I'm like, well, I guess I'm speaking at 3:30 or 3:45. I had to go in there and start going through PowerPoints, figure out what I want to talk about. But here's the thing about introvert. That's one of the things that you got to understand. Introvert doesn't mean that you're shy. My introverts, you guys aren't shy in here. If we start talking about cars to my introverts, and you're a car person, oh my gosh. Sewing. But what you are is you're energized by being alone. My wife has no problem. When COVID hit, she's an engineer. She's in the aerospace industry. She came in there. She worked out of her house. COVID hit. She goes, nothing changed in my world. Not one thing changed. Because it's usually I'm gone. The kids are gone. That was the only thing. But summer and stuff, they were there, coming off spring break and stuff. The kids were there a little bit, but I just took them to the office of me because I want kids running around. And I've got 9-year-old twins. I dyed the gray in for business purposes, so that's where I got that, right? So, but I take them there. They can run around and holler because my brain likes multitasking. You can holler and thing and ask me questions. And my wife's that one-track engineer brain, right? That introvert. She wanted to be kids around her yelling, just because she gets energized by being alone. Where me, I'm just like, come on, let's do it. Have fun. So how to care for extroverts? Because there are some things we have to do for extroverts. We have to care for them because we think, oh, they're all good, but there are some things we like to then. Respect their independence, compliment them in the company of others. Here's the thing. Extroverts, I know, we sort of like to be appreciated. I know it comes as a shock to you extroverts, but a lot of times we like appreciation, because we do. Not speaking out of myself, right? Allow them to explore, talk things out, thoughtfully surprise them, understand when they're busy, let them dive right in, offer them option, make physical and verbal gestures of affection, let them shine. Talk things out. We're going to get into introverts. Introverts don't talk things out, do they? They analyze things and then they talk. Extroverts, we like to talk things out. Just put us in a room. Hey, we got a problem. All right, everybody in the room, conference room. You throw introverts and extroverts in there, you're only going to hear the solutions from the 3 extroverts in the room. The 4 introverts, you're not going to hear a word out of them because they need time to prepare, right? My introverts, unite separately in your own homes. Yes. Raise your hand, introverts. Put that. Okay, I know. I always like to have fun with that because introverts are like, oh, do I have to? I don't know this guy, Why? Here's the thing, when you do corporate training and stuff, I do a lot of corporate training, you never call in on an introvert like early in the day. You have to wait till after 10 o'clock before you ask an introvert a question, because if not, they shell up and they won't ever warm up to you as a speaker. So you have to wait. And you'll see a thing, and I know introverts because I can come in and read your body language and trigonometry. I'm going to tell you about that in a little bit. Ask an icebreaker, and I pretty much know who the introverts and extroverts are instantly in the room. So then what do you do as a speaker? You talk to the extroverts, and then eventually the introverts, at some point, one of them will warm up. You're like, oh, I can start bringing her into conversation. Another one will start warming up, and next thing you know, by your lunch, you actually can have a talk with the class. But if not, you're just talking to the extroverts in the room, because that's the way it works. There's a comfort level that introverts got to get to. So let's talk about introverts. Sign that you're an introvert: you spend plenty of time alone. Your inner monologue is hard to shut off. You do your best thinking alone. You often feel lonelier in a crowd than when you are alone. Think about that one, right? If you feel like faking it when you have to network, you have no desire to be the center of attention. I asked my wife, I was like, hey, we got this thing at Billy Bob's, you want to go? No. That was her answer. I go, well, I'm thinking about just taking my 9-year-old daughter, or maybe my kids. She goes, you can do that. I was going to take them to my date tonight, just to have somebody hang out with. And she's like, have fun. When we go into networking things for Builders Association stuff, we walk in and I'm like, hey, I'm going to go over here. She goes, I see a cocktail and a buffet. I'm going to go over here, stand in the corner. See you in a little bit. Bye. Go do your butterfly thing. And that's what she does, right? She just hides in that corner. So how do I care for introverts here? Respect their need for privacy. Never embarrass them in public. Never call on them straight up front, right? Let them observe first new situation. Give them time to think. Don't interrupt them. Give them advance notice of expected changes in their life. I love that one. Love that. Give them a 15-minute warning to finish what they do. Reprimand them privately. Teach them new skills. Don't push them to make lots of new friends. Again, I got my circle. That's my wife. She said, we've got our inner circle. We got another circle. We got another. That was my wife, right? Because I don't want anybody else in this circle. I'm good. We're good. We got these people. But here's the thing. Agendas. If you have meetings in your corporate, your business, agendas were created for introverts. If you just say impromptu meeting in the conference room, like I just said, you're going to hear from the extroverts, you're not going to hear from the introverts. If introvert doesn't mean shy, it means I need time to gather my thoughts before I'm going to speak with my mouth and make words. If you want me to speak and make words, I'm not going to do it. Pretty much the way it is. So agendas have them time to look at it. They look where they're going to talk, what they might be called on. They can research it. They have all their stuffs together. They're ready to go. But that's what introverts need. So the golden rule, Tony Alessandra here. We've heard of the golden rule. Have you heard of the golden rule? Do unto others, right? Say what it is. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I want to challenge that. The golden rule is a great rule, but think about one thing. Tony Alessandra said, that's a great rule, but can we modify that? And I love it the way he said, treat others the way they want to be treated. Not do unto others as you want to do to yourself. It doesn't matter about you. If you were in my class, my session this morning, it's not about you. As a business, I'm not the hero of the story. My client is the hero of the story. It's all about my client. And if you've missed the earlier one, I told people when you walk into a building, when you talk into a client, salespeople and companies, we mess up. We tell them all about us. Let me tell you about myself. Tim Lansford, Luxury Home, Texas. We specialize in luxury homes, blah, 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 blah. We build this, we do this. It's not about us. Are you going to care about me? No. I need to figure out your pain points. I need to figure out who you are. And then you're the hero of the story. It's not about me. When I go in there and spit everything about my company, it's about me. I don't care about me. I should be listening more than I should be talking. I should be asking questions to make you the hero of the story, not me. I don't want to be the hero of the story. And that's what you want to think about. So look, 4 personality types. Crazy. I knew it was coming. See? 4 personality types. Where do you fit in here? Thinker, director, socializer, relator. I'm going to go through each. But pay attention, because I'm going to ask you at the end, where do you think you fit in? All right? My thinkers. My thinkers are my get it right people. Get it right. My wife is a thinker. She's a detailed brain. Who's my factual people, right? In your head, you got to get to facts, figures. You're the detailed people. Can I do details? Absolutely. Do I like to do details? No, it's like nails on the chalkboard. I said if I didn't have detailed people that work for me, because I hire thinkers, I don't hire socializers like me. I need people to go get the stuff done. I'm running around talking in front of stages and stuff, right? I need somebody to do it. We're building houses right now. That'd suck if we just shut down this week just because I was out running the street. So I need my thinkers. Thinkers are results-oriented. They're quiet, low-key. They're analytical, persistent. They're well-organized a lot of times. My thinkers are exacting, thorough, factual, reserved, meticulous. They dot the I's and cross the T's. Thinkers, slow to get things done. Perfectionist. Withdrawn sometimes. Because again, you're getting into that, want to be alone. A lot, not always, a lot of my thinkers are actually introverts. They're engineers, they're accountants, there's people that they're like that technical stuff. But a lot of times they're withdrawn and they like to stay in their own house, work out their own thing. Directors, my get it done people. Get it done, get it done, get it done, get it done. I don't care, just get it done. Well, I got a problem, get it done. What's the problem? I don't care, get it done. These are get it done people. So look at my directors, forceful, take charge people. Their impatience and sometimes their insensitivity makes you, they're a little tough on you something, especially depending on the personality. If you have a director talking to a relator, which I'm going to tell you about relators in a second, that tends to be bad combination sometimes. Driven by the inner need to get results, they're more concerned with outcomes than the egos. They're practical, orderly, direct, organized. Directors tell it straight how it is. They're not sugarcoating anything. Because they're like, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it, period. They're not asking you your opinion. They're like, we're going to do it. We're going to get it done. We're moving forward. We're wasting time talking about what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Let's do it. Directors are stubborn, unapproachable, critical. Just to give you an idea. If I walk around and I'm being quiet for a second, I'm letting people take pictures. So the people in front will be like, why? He's taking pauses. Because they're all taking pictures on me. So, all right. Just want to let you know. You're like, well, he's just taking a break up there in the front of the room, right? Socializers, my people. My people. Yeah. I don't know how many socialize. I'm going to ask you who you are after this. Get appreciated. The friendly, enthusiastic socializers are fast-paced people who thrive on admiration, acknowledgement, and applause. They love to talk. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Donnie Mac, I don't like to talk, do I? No. While strong on fresh concepts, they're usually weak on execution. 100%, I admit it. That's why I handle detailed people to get the work done. If I didn't have detailed people, I probably wouldn't be in the building business. Because we wouldn't get stuff done. I'm the shake hands and kiss babies kind of guy. Can I do the details? I've been doing this for 27 years. Yes, I have to do the details. I have to do the front office. I have to do all this. Can do it. Do I like it? No. There's a difference. Socializers, persuasive, risk takers, competitive, confident. We go by our gut feeling a lot, where a thinker is going to analyze the facts. For a socializer, I'm like, feels good, let's do it. Just like that. I'll find out if I got any other socializers in here with me. Socializers can appear pushy, not always. We're not pushy. We can be, but most of the time we appear pushy. There's a difference. Restless, abrasive. Yeah, I sit in an office. There's times that I'm getting better about sitting in an office, but I still don't like sitting in an office very long. I'm like, oh, I've been in the office for like 3 hours. I got to go find something to do. Run down and get me something to eat or get out of the thing, do something, make a phone call, you know. My relators are get along people. I call you guys the teddy bears of the human zoo. Oh yeah, just need to get along. Let's hug it out. Rather easygoing, people-oriented, slow pace. Relators tend to drag their feet when it comes to change. Don't like change. Like the way we've been doing it. Why should we change? No reason to change. Relators, team-oriented, caring, devoted. Relators, you know what I do with my relators? I put them in charge of the meeting. You know why? Directors, you're going to talk to your extroverts and you're going to get it done. Relators, well, now, they've had their say. Let's hear from these guys over here. Because relators are balanced, right? They want to be able to spread the love. They want to be able to easy going. Everybody's got to have a voice in here. So they're really good about running meetings where somebody is a director, boop, let's just get this done, move on, we got to get back to sales. Relators, indecisive, vulnerable, hesitant a lot of times. All right. So before I go to this one, who's my thinkers? Who's my detail people? Who's my analytical people? Raise your hand, be proud, come on. Who's my directors? My get it done at all costs people. Who's my peep socializers? Whoop, whoop. All right, I got some socializers in there. I know, we usually don't represent in these things. We only got 3 or 4. I know a couple of you because I've been talking to you all day, right? So, and then my last one, who's my relators? You thought I was going to leave the relators out. I saw you. She's like, oh, the whole time I was going through relators, her head was over there sort of nodding, right? Yeah, I could tell right there. I'm like, I guarantee I already got her pegged, right? So, all right. So feedback woes. Now, you can look at these, but I put this on feedback because how many times in communication have you got good feedback? How many times have you got bad feedback? Do you like giving feedback? Do you like receiving feedback? Feedback's a tricky thing, isn't it? We like to receive feedback, quotation marks, but we prefer to receive feedback if it's good feedback. But if we get bad feedback, I train a lot of speakers and I tell them, I said, the first time you start speaking, the new speakers and stuff, you're going to have 30 people in the room. 29 of them are going to turn in great, awesome, great day, I learned a lot. And there's going to be one that said, I wasn't feeling it, this thing sucked. And then for 2 days, you're going to be like, what did they like about it? And your brain is going to go to that negative going, what was it? You don't know what's going on with people's head. They could have been having a bad day, right? They could have been something going on. Got mad, spilled their water, spilled their coffee. I don't know what it is. You just can't do that. You got to go for when you're giving feedback, you go to the majority. You got to figure out how to get better. But we're talking about personalities, all right? So let's keep going down the personality thing when it comes to feedback. So feedback on personalities. Do you understand personalities? There's a way to motivate people if you give them feedback using words they like. So if you have somebody that works for you that's a director, John, if we focus on this aspect of the project, we'll be able to get results quickly. Did you see the word results in there? If you use keywords that represent who a director is, they're going to see that as a positive feedback. Socializer, what excites me, Mary, excites, good word, is the recognition. Recognition, the pat on the back, our department will receive once we completed this project with client XYZ. If you use the right words, it resonates with who you are as a personality. That's why a lot of times we'll go to companies and we'll do personality training, and we put them on their door. So if I'm walking down the hallway and I walk up, I'm like, it's a thinker. I can't, this report, nope, I gotta go get some details, because they're gonna want details. This is a concept, right? Concept's not gonna work with somebody that's a thinker. So we used to do in corporate, we put them on their door. My thinkers, Jeff, I'd like to explain to you the research. I did come up with this information. Information and research. Keywords, right? My relators, Ellen, I really appreciate your participation on this project. You're a great team member. Pat on the back. Does that feel right? Does it feel right? Does it feel right? Yeah, I know it does. But here's the thing. People don't understand this goes there. It's how you sell. You go pitch somebody on an idea. You got your boss, you're trying to pitch them on an idea, you have an employee. It's the same thing. You use this. Thinker, details information, control, mastery, relator, caring, teamwork, socializers, achievement. Hey, I have this great idea. I think we're going to achieve things, and I think the recognition we're going to get is marvelous. Let me tell you my concept, because I'm talking to a socializer. I'm using all the words, they think in concepts. If I'm talking to a thinker, let me tell you about my research. I've got details. I've got 13 pages of information and facts and figures that I can know that we can make this work. They're going to be like, let's dig into it. But at the same time, you walk into that 13 pages, into a socializer's office, what are you going to do? Waste their time. Do that with my wife. I walk in my wife's office. Baby, I got a concept that's going to make us $1 million. She's like, great, how are we going to do it? All right, baby, let me say it again. I got a concept that's going to make me $1 million. She's going to be like, get out of my office. Concept. Her brain don't think in concepts. She needs a comprehensive plan. But at the same time, she walks in my office. Baby, 14 pages, single space stuff, how we're going to make $1 million. Number one, whoop, whoop, whoop. Skip down to the last paragraph, because that's the concept. That's the summary paragraph. And then we'll move on down the road. You can go do it, because I'm not going to do 14 pages worth of stuff. That's the way personalities work, all right? All right, so let's switch to another layer of communication. We speak different languages, all our generations, all right? So if you look at this, you can look down, see where you're at. I'm not going to ask everybody where they're at. We're losing a lot of the silent generation. We still got a lot of boomers, Xers, and millennials. We're going on down through the list, of all the other ones. But this is just the thing, just to get you an idea. I didn't have enough bigger screen to include Gen Alpha and all the other people. But here's the thing. Our outlook, boomers, optimistic, Xers, skeptical, millennials, hopeful, work ethic, driven, balanced, determined, leadership, consensus, compelling. You can go down through. I'm not going to read all this. But here's the thing. Millennials for the longest time got the bad rap. Bad rap for millennials. And what was the reason? Because a lot back in the day, millennials were working for the boomers and the silent generation. You can see the difference between millennials and the boomers and silent generation. They're far apart. Their values are. That was the point where you used to work for a company for 30 years. You retire from that company and you move on. You retire. Now it's like, well, I can do this job for about 1.5 years, and then I can go up $10,000 in salary if I switch, and then I can go up another $10,000. I was well ahead of my time as an Xer, because that's what I did. Yep. I never stopped interviewing. Like every time I got a job for like 3 years, I was still interviewing because I wanted to get good at it. But here's the thing, the way we see the world is different. Millennials got a bad rap because they're working for the wrong generation. Nowadays, millennials have a good rap because now people have figured out how to utilize them. We've pitched it for long. I have one company, their work hours are from 9 to noon. It's pretty much a millennial company. 9 to noon is their work hours 5 days a week. So they have to come in to work at 9, they can leave at noon, do whatever they want. That's it. But what's happening, they found out, millennials grew up a lot of times in the video game generation. They did things at night. They worked with their friends. They did stuff at night with their friends. So they like working at night. So from 9 to 12, they come in, talk to the people in there, but then they go home, do all their stuff, lay at the pool, do their thing. At 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, they fire up their computer, they work till 2 o'clock in the morning. They're actually getting 12 hours work, 10 to 12 hours out of millennials, where they're only mandating that they have to work 3 hours a day. Because they've figured out, this is how we utilize these. You got to work to the people. Now, it doesn't have to be a millennial. You got to figure out if you're a day worker, are you a morning person or a night person? I was definitely a night person. You have kids, people have kids, I don't know what happens. You put little kids in bed, and then instantly it's like 9 o'clock, you're like, man, that bed looks awful good, right? Anybody relate? Yeah, you put them in there and it's like, I'm instantly tired. I think now I'm at 4 o'clock in the morning. I get up, drink coffee, I'm like, woo, it's dark out and all that stuff. But I mean, I wasn't that. I'm at 10:30 to about 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. That's my normal. But I'm a morning person now. I thought I'd be a morning person ever, but apparently I am. So listening. We've already said everybody in here is good listeners, right? Maybe. Listening is the key for all effective communication. Listening, the ability to accurately receive and interpret messages. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily understood. Listening is not the same as hearing. We listen to respond. We don't listen to listen. So if somebody's talking to us, we're forming the thought what to say back. Oh, well, they're going that way, and you change your thought. The best thing you can do is listen, pause. It's okay to have silence, but our brain doesn't like it. And then respond after you've thought about the thing. So here we go. Is everybody good at math? Everybody good at math in here? So this is a bus. This is a bus. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little exercise. I won't make it too hard on math. It's going to be a little bit, but so here's what. You're a bus driver here in Canada, and then you're on your bus right now is 4 people. 4 people. You go to the first bus stop, 3 people get on. 1 person gets off. You go to the second bus stop, 4 people get off, 2 people get on. You go to the third and final stop, 1 person gets off, 5 people get on. What's the age of the bus driver? Don't say that loud. Who's got the answer? Who's got the answer? Anybody? But you guys are all great listeners, I know. Let me start again. So you're a bus driver in Canada. So what's the age of the bus driver? Your age. Ha-ha. It's all about listening to the words. We all think we're good listeners, but a lot of things slip through the cracks, right? You're a bus driver in Canada. What's the age of the bus driver? Everybody know the age of the bus driver now? Is there anybody in the room that does not know the age of the bus driver? I can work with you on the side and we can see you afterwards. All right. So types of listening here. Inactive, hearing, not listening, in one ear, out the other. Bias listening, hear what you want to. And a lot of times, we all have biases. Bias is not racism, it's not diversity. Biases, we have biases. Sometimes we're attracted to pretty people. Sometimes we're attracted to people in boots. Sometimes we like to hang out with like-minded people. We like to hang out with CEOs. We like to hang out with builders. We like to hang out with people that are in the insulation business. That's a bias, you know? And there's so many different biases. It's crazy if you go through. I could spend a whole day teaching just about biases. Empathetic, seeking a truer understanding, feeling with the speaker. Empathetic. How do you get empathetic with somebody? If you were in my class earlier, you ask open-ended questions. The more open-ended questions you ask, the more the other person talks about themselves, and it creates empathy. And it creates empathy, and what empathy is, that one-on-one. It's putting itself in there. The walls go down. The person gets able to communicate with you on the different things. Ask open-ended questions. Secret sauce of everything. Evaluative, makes judgments. Therapeutic, helping speaker change or develop. And relational, relationship building, establishing trust. Just a couple of them. Now, when men listen, again, I didn't do this slide, so don't, I got ladies coming up in a second, so I always get this, sure. I'm like, I didn't create this. This is through research. This isn't through Tim. So don't go and ding me, go, I don't know about this speaker, right? When men listen, they search for facts. They hear it like it is. They focus on the words more than women do. They're less likely to focus on emotions. Men and women, very similar. Again, this is another layer of the onion. This is another thing that we're looking at. It's another layer of communication. Men and women, we speak differently, right? Oh, let's see about women. They search for an underlying meaning. I don't know, maybe. They analyze words used. They're likely to return a conversation 2-3 years later. Oh, it didn't say 2-3 years. I swore I said 2-3 years, but I read that wrong. Sorry. They like to know that they are fully understood. Fair enough? I didn't do it. I'm just asking if the research is correct, because I didn't do the research either. All right, so let's talk about nonverbals. Nonverbals. Communication. Who's familiar with this thing? Ever heard of this guy? The good doctor here? 55% of all communication is body language. 55%. 38% is the tone of your voice. 7% is the words that you say. So, let's just take this. We can talk to you a little bit about communication today, and it's nonverbals is it's a cool thing. You learn lots if you learn about nonverbals. You might be done with me now, but you'd really be done with me if I was that person, right? About body language. I'm in a double closed off position. I'm talking with my voice in a monotone. I'm talking in a lower voice. I'm not raising and lowering my pitch of my voice. Presentation is everything. 55% is body language. It's how you hold yourself right here. Who could be a public speaker? Who could be up here with me? I know one or two because you do it. Who I'm not going to call you up here, all right? I'm not going to say, get up here, come on, let's do it, I'll give you your chance. No. Anybody public speaker? I know I got one. I know it too. All right, I got one. All right. Here's the thing. It's all about this. I could stand up here without words and just walk around and be confident, right? You know? I could do the Tony Robbins thing, you know? You know, the whole clap. You guys been in? Oh. Just confidence. 55% is body language. And then your tone, you got some different things you can do. So your pitch. Lower pitch conveys authority, higher pitch, stress. You can always tell a new speaker because the tone goes up. The tone of the voice goes up a lot when somebody talks. If somebody's nervous, the pitch goes up quite a bit. I usually can tell when somebody's nervous because they'll start out conversation, that's when you can ask them a question, and whatever you did, you hit a nerve and their pitch changes. And once their pitch changes, you can tell. Nasally, too whiny, volume, appropriate for space and number of people listening, louder or softer. So if I'm sitting here in a little room like this, and I had these 3 rows, I'm probably not going to be mic'd up, right? Because I'd be blowing people out. I'd be talking this, I'd be whispering. Small group, I might even sit down at the table and have a conversation with them. But you got to figure out your audience. Pronunciation, punch words for emphasis. This is a fun one you can do, and I'm not going to do it here. You can take a sentence, and as you read it, let's see, I said I wasn't going to do it. I'll make one up. I went to the bank to put money. I went to put money in the bank. 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 So it's the words. You can put emphasis. You can change the whole way a sentence reads just by putting emphasis on a word. Support, breathe from diaphragm, shoulders back. It's one of the things in body language. So body language, there's a couple things: facial expressions, body postures, gestures, micro expressions. Just a couple of them I'm going to talk about. Eye movement, touching, handshakes, spatial relationships, some cultural stuff. So we're much worse about reading body language because we use words. People are kind of words. We think that we don't understand. We can read animals, right? If a dog ran in here and he was sitting here, he's growling and all that, we know everything about that dog, right? Is he like that, or is he scared aggression, or is he, that? We know everything about it. You do the same thing for humans as you do for animals. You just recognize it as animals, but you don't recognize it with humans because we use words. They don't use words, so your words replace your shortcut in your brain that you're not reading their body language. Your subconscious is picking up every little movement. And that's what body language is. How many times you go, Donnie's just not right today. Something's off about Donnie. I don't know what it is. He's sick, but he's not making the same motions. He's not doing the same thing. He's not so jovial. So I know that there's something going on about Donnie because the body language has changed. Your subconscious is picking it up, but your brain hasn't registered that you can figure out what's going on. That's why you get those gut feelings about something sometimes. There's something that ain't right about a situation. One thing I always do when I teach body language, and it's a quick thing, I say read in clusters. And I say this because I'm a speaker, and a lot of times people will cross their arms. I could care less if you cross your arms. I do this because my back hurts, and it takes the pressure off. I cross my arms all the time. Now, if I'm in a group where the speaker knows that I'm a speaker, I have to watch that. I try not to do it because then it comes across like, okay, but I don't care about that. But I'm going to read. If you've got your arms crossed, your legs crossed, and your body's turned sort of an angle sideways to me, I might have lost you in a conversation, in a sales call or something like that. Then I can do it. So I read in clusters, right? Look for congruence. Make sure the words match the body language. Make sure you're not giving mixed signals. And read gestures in context. If it's cold, a lot of restaurants, a lot of events are cold. So read in clusters. So here's a couple fun ones. And I tried to put some fun stuff in here. Chin rub, making a decision, lack of eye contact, touching eyeglasses to lips, delay in a decision. You're doing some stuff, you're touching your thing. It's one of those, the stuff. Now, palm to chest, you're going to see this in politics. I know, right? I caught it. So, you touch your sincerity to your heart, right? This is sincerity next to American flag, lapel pin, camera angle 1. Boop. Politicians always come out like this. I have nothing to hide. If I see the palms, that means I have nothing to hide. That's a standard thing. I'm going to show you a picture in a second about that. Hands on hips. Biting lip, uncertain. Hands clasped behind head, dominant. Crossed arms, unreceptive sometimes. But look at this. This is how the palms. Palms are attentional. If somebody's doing something, that's what it is. That's how openness is. Now look at this next picture I'm getting ready to show you. And this is what really makes a difference. If you were hiring, which one of these people would you hire? It's such a simple thing. Two people are in closed off position. This is a closed off position, right? One person is literally just doing like this, but you can tell by looking at that person looks like it's a more open position, right? It looks like she would be friendlier just by that. And this is very acceptable to put our hands behind our head. Ladies, sometimes you use purses. What it is you're putting something between you and the other person. This is a block. In body language, that's a block. However you do it, you're blocking the other person. And if you do that, you're trying to put off. And that's when you think about the body language. Handshake. Who in here is a good handshaker? Come on, get up here. Handshake, come up here. All right, come over here. We're just coming in. How you doing?
Good.
Tim Lansford.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Ed, how you doing? Good. Don't go anywhere. Now this is good. This is a let me see your hand. This is a normal thing. Go web to web. It's firm, not bone crushing, not dead fish. You know, painters are the worst. Dead fish painters. I don't know what they. Anyway, that's a whole different thing. So normal body language, square, right? But there's a thing on first impressions. Don't go anywhere. In body language, a simple thing, the way you shake hands, affects how your brain registers them. So in body language, whenever anybody's hands on top, they're in a power position. You've seen the power position, coupling, the shoulder, and all this stuff. That's a power position. But when somebody's hands on top, so a lot of times if I'm in a seminar after we leave here, I extend my hand like this because I want to put you in a power position. I'm okay with it. But if I'm in a sales thing, what I do is I come up, hi, Tim Lansford. I take a step this way, and I naturally do this. And I turn to the thing when I take a step to the left, and I put myself in a power position. You'll see politicians do this, and they're like arm wrestling. They're trying to do this. And then right here, I would never, because I would be in a different country, presidents always come out from that side because why? Because camera, paparazzi there, take my picture all they want because my hand's in a power position. So snap my picture. But if they're not, what do? Watch this, you're gonna laugh when you see it. How you doing, Ed? They get that straight out of the way, it's gone. Thank you. Big round of applause for Ed. Simple things, the way you just shake hands makes a difference of how you're perceived. A couple of these, I'm gonna go through these somewhat fast. Crossed arms on chest. You know, again, can be good, read in clusters. Finch cliffs, that's one thing. A lot of times if they have their arms crossed, but they still have their fists clenched, they're still being aggressive. They're still bound up. You know, you're probably disciplining them or something. Thumbs out, thumbs are pretty good. You know, a lot of people do it in their pockets. You know, put their thumb out, that means I'm sort of cool. I still think I'm still better than you. I put my thumbs out. A lot of times, I don't know, it's body language, right? Double arm grips, sometimes insecure, put your purse in there, just different things. The way you body, if you're talking to somebody, it's an open, you're open. Talking, you just look at this and just see. You know, if two people are talking like this, probably conversation not going to go pretty good, right? I've done this many times where I've been at big conventions and stuff, and the CEO, we just bought somebody out. They come up the stage and they're like, oh, we're open. Our management team we're bringing in, we're open. Come talk to us anytime. They step out in the front of the podium. They go, does anybody have any questions? And they go to a double closed off position. Well, his thing's saying, ask me a question, but his body's saying, no, don't ask me a question. So your brain instinct goes into that conflict mode going, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Superiority, frustration, larger degree of frustration. The eye rub. Now, here I will tell you about this. The nose touch is the number one thing to catch people lying. A lot of times you'll do like this. That's an obvious one. But a lot of times somebody will say something, and they'll go like this. If they hit their nose, I'm going to ask them 3 more questions in a different way to see if they just lied to me. I'm telling you, you can catch people on this one. Say something and they just brush their nose like that. You better ask them some more questions because more likely you just got told a lie. I know it's crazy, but you're going to be the shocked first time you hear it. All right? All right, fact, when men lie, their body language can be obvious. Women, you like to look busy. I'm going to clean. Oh, everything's good. Just you do. You like to look busy. We have different spaces. We have different spaces in the U.S. compared to other countries, to other cultures. They all mean something. Now, one thing I did put this in, just remember this. If you walk up and 2 people are having a conversation, the normal thing is they will turn and make a triangle. If they don't make a triangle, you just need to keep walking on. Because they're having a conversation, they turn their head, they're not welcoming me in. Because again, when your body is not square to the other person, it's not a welcoming thing. So they need to be able to turn everything, their whole body, and make that triangle. Limbic synchronicity, let me tell you about this. Of all the things I can tell you about body language, it's called matching or mirroring. If you can just learn to match and mirror somebody. So if they do something, if they've got their arms crossed, arms crossed. If they're a hand talker, you talk with your hands. If they're not a hand talker, you put your hand in your pocket. I'm a hand talker. So if I meet somebody that's not, I put my hands in my pocket. I control those things because that'll drive somebody crazy. You can watch cop shows all the time, detective shows. First thing they do is the perp will put his arms behind the head, and about 2.5 seconds later, the detective will put his arms behind the head and said, well, tell me all about it. Because what you're trying to do is build this, oh, this guy's very similar, because the subconscious goes, okay, I'm dialed into what they're throwing down. They're very similar to me. And it's just a simple thing. It's called limbic synchronicity. Yeah, that word, matching and mirroring. Now, micro-expressions I'm not going to go about. You can study this. It's too tough. But your eyes have a quadrant, your forehead has a quadrant, and your lower face has a quadrant. And you can look at this. This is the same thing in different avenues where you can change up. If you get really good at this, a lot of times I can catch a micro-expression. They do it with cameras right now. You actually will frown before you talk. They catch politicians. Well, they'll frown before they talk, that they're telling a lie. Because your micro-expression, your lips go down. And they do that. So just know about them so you can study this. Signometry, it's another thing I threw some slides in there just to sort of tell you it's out there, because a lot of people don't know. This is the science of face reading. It's signometry. It's an actual science, been around for many years. All right? Your face is a roadmap to your personality. It goes all through these communications. I can come in, again, the body language, the signometry I told, do some face reading. You have a personal side of your face and a business side of your face. All the lines, forehead, your spacing, your ear size, your forehead, the way your hair, the lines on your forehead, your crow's feet, your dimples, they all mean something in face reading. Again, I'm throwing it out so you can look at it. It's really cool stuff, and people sometimes take a deep dive on it. You can look that your face is not asymmetrical. Your face it's different. So one side of your face is completely different. So they've taken the middle one and they've combined two of his right side of his face and two of his left side of the face. Looks like a totally different people. They've mirrored them, right? Another one. One side, his thing goes up, and one side he's got that little thing with his mouth and all that stuff. Looks like a totally different person compared to what it is. Your face is asymmetrical. It doesn't match up. That's why it's a very thing. Even Tom, who's got some pretty good ones, you can look and he's still got a thinner side of his face than not. She's got a little jowl that sticks out on one side a little bit more than a knot. Makes it something. Just know about it. Again, I'm not going to do a deep dive. I'm just going to show you some pictures. I learned it from Mac. Mac's a local guy. He was a lawyer. He got out of the lawyer because when you go in to get done for lawyer jury duty, it's the lawyers, but a lot of times it's like Bull. If you've seen Bull, you know the recognition, but they have face reading experts sitting there. That's how he learned it. He's a lawyer that turned around and he trains Fortune, American Airlines, all these people about face reading and stuff to be able to get to know people. But you have your eyes, the way you do your eyebrow shapes all mean something to me. Thick to thin, thin to thick, straight line, bushy, they all mean something in face reading. Your top lips, your bottom lids, your eyelashes, your spacing of your eyes, how much pad between your eyes, all mean something in face reading. Again, I'm just trying to give you some ideas to tweak your interest, right? You can see you got straight linear thinking foreheads, you got backward angle foreheads that are good memory. I've got round ones that are imaginary, dislike. Once I do this, I have classes, I do this when I bring out the books. Everybody's like, this is too much, right? Because everybody's looking at every little thing. But you can see that, the forehead, and you really don't ever notice it till you see it in a picture form. You're like, there's a lot of different foreheads out there, right? There's a lot of different ones. There's eyes out there that you can look at the eyes. You can look at the personality traits based on the shape of your face. You've got the oval face people. You can read them. I'm not going to read every one of these for you. I've got my round face people. You can see where you fit in. Look at your neighbor. I've got my heart-shaped face. I got my square face people. My triangle face. You don't really think about it until you start seeing it in pictures like, my gosh, there's a lot of, yeah, makes total sense, right? Big eyes, small eyes, mean a little bit to you. Your short nose, long nose, decisive, bossy, kind, sensitive. Again, I'm just throwing it out so you can be curious about it. Lips, thin lips versus full lips. Here's the thing, I have a lot of people ask me, well, Tim, what if we get enhancements? We get Botox. How does that change? Well, a lot of times it changes your personality because you feel better about yourself. And it actually changes who you are. So it actually holds true. The toughest one that for me to do is when I teach at colleges and stuff, people are like, read my face. I'm like, you have no lines. You haven't experienced enough in life. I can see your shape of your face. I can see that, but a lot of the lines that tell me a lot about you don't have any lines. I can tell you the shape of your eyes, the inside to outside the ears, and all that stuff. But when you get into the lines in the face, mean a lot. But even if you have Botox, I can still see, unless you started Botox early, I can still see your lines. It's just they're hidden a little bit, right? But I mean, I look at faces all the time, so. Chins, jaws, prominent jaws, small jaws, just to give you an idea. All right, I'm just going to do a couple of these slides because I'm running out of time here, but I want to hit a couple of these. This is think before you write, all right? The slide that I want to get to is coming up. Present your main idea first. When you write something, make sure, if you're writing an email, put in the first paragraph what the email's about. Don't write a 5-page email. For one, you need to not ever write a 5-page email. Email is a bad form of communication. But if you do, at least put it in the subject. It don't limit you to 4 characters there. Put a very long subject, and or put what you're trying to accomplish in the first paragraph. You'll be a better communicator for that. Be better on the words. Don't use 3 words when 1 will do. Replace the ION words. That just helps you cut the fat on some of these. Write in conversational tone. Write as you're talking. Now, here's one of the things that I tell people. I think it's the next slide. Let me go here. Okay, maybe not. I got 2 slides in there. But we write in conversational tone, but what do? Cut, paste, move this, move that around, and all this. What happens a lot of times, let's see if it's the next one. No. All right. I got it in. Oh, there it is. It was that one there. I thought it was. When we cut and paste and we're writing emails and we're typing things out, we're moving words, we're adding words and everything. This is the number one thing I want you to do on writing it is print it out. Print it out and read it out loud. Because if you read it on the screen, your brain will read it the way you wrote it. But if you print it out and read it out loud, if it's a very important email, you're going to go, blah, blah. That don't make any sense because your brain is not going to let you read it out loud. You're going to miss a word or have choppy thoughts, and you're going to rewrite it. So print it out and read it out loud, and I promise you it's going to save you a lot of heartache later on if it's a very important email. That's what you want to do. All right, a couple things here to finish up. Speaking silent generation. Again, they were all about retiring here, right? What can we do? Speaking boomer, you're important to your success. Unique, what's your vision? You were valued because there was a lot of value in my boomers. My Gen Xers, do it your way. We got the latest computer technology. There aren't a lot of rules here. We're not very corporate. That was just Gen Xers, the way we grew up. Speaking millennials, we provide equal opportunities. Your men are here is in their 60s. Again, they were working for that boomer. They were working for, silent generation. You're making a positive difference to our organization. You handled that situation well. They're getting the pat on the back. So Gen Z down here, my last couple slides. Again, I had to check, make sure. I think this is 2 or 3 months old. It may have changed, so don't fault me because it changes every 2-3 months. But this was the latest. Cool replaced by swag. Swag hasn't been cool since 2012. The new word is sauce. Just telling you. Rad, someone that was cool in the 90s, rad is replaced with chill, but apparently rad is becoming rad again. Babe was replaced with ba in 2000, but ba is now bruh. I hear that all the time. What up, bruh? Yeah, you can call me dad, but I'll be your bruh too. Yeah. Gnarly, not cool. Maybe in the 70s, 80s, millennials used dope instead, but now dope is lit. Sick, cool slang term in the 80s, 2000s, use slay instead. All right. And then I'll tell you my Gen Alphs, because I got Gen Alphas. It's all about sus. Sus. That means suspect, like curious, right? Sus. Other than that, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. I know it's coming to the end of the show. I appreciate you hanging. Thank you for having fun with me. I tried to do a little fun one there towards the end and have some good. So